right, Mr. Taliaferro TV, how's everybody doing out there? Now, a trade has been announced in the NBA. It involves one of the most popular players in the last 15 years. His game is not where it once was, but he's still one of the most popular players in the NBA. Carmelo Anthony. Now this is a trade that I expected would happen. Some trade like this. The Thunder really wanted to get something back for Carmelo Anthony. They're looking at it like this, right? They can't go out and sign anyone. They have been unable to sign anyone else because they're well over the luxury tax. Carmelo Anthony's making what, 25, 30 million a year. You got Russell Westbrook making max money. Paul George, they just re-signed him for a nice bit of change, max money as well. So the Thunder can't go out and sign anyone. By the way, they pay Steven Adams good money as well. They pay Jeremy Grant good money. They can't go out and sign anyone else. But they can use Melo's cap and trade him for another player and bring on their cap. It'll still reduce their luxury tax as long as that player does not make anywhere near the same amount of money as Carmelo Anthony, which Dennis Schroder does not. So it's a good move. The Thunder really wanted to get something back because they want to improve their team. They pretty much brought everyone back. I know they did go out and get Nerlens Noel, which could pretty well be a big signing for them, but they couldn't do much. They had to keep their guys and their nucleus there. They're going to get Roberson back from injury, so that they're pretty much bringing their roster back, but they needed to improve. If it didn't happen last year, obviously we think the Russell Westbrook, Paul George chemistry is only going to get better, but you're still going to have to improve your team. So for the Thunder, they wanted, before they just waive and stretch Carmelo Anthony, because that was the last step that they were going to do. They had already talked to Melo. Melo was no way coming back to Oklahoma City. He did not like Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City did not want to pay him. He was not coming back, right? They had already agreed on that. It was just for the Thunder to try to find a trade partner to trade Carmelo Anthony, who would want to either keep Melo a part of their roster or get Melo and get rid of one of their guys and waive and stretch Carmelo Anthony's contract. If the Thunder couldn't have found a trade partner, worst case scenario, they would have waived and stretched Carmelo Anthony. They ended up finding a trade partner, and I think it's going to work for them. They ended up trading Carmelo Anthony and a protected first-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks, and in return, the Atlanta Hawks will be sending their point guard Dennis Schroder to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, I will do a video. You got to subscribe to my platform. I will do a separate video breaking down what I think about Dennis Schroder joining this Oklahoma City Thunder team and where can he mesh and figure and what can these guys do together as they now have a new sixth-man, seventh-man off the bench for them. Now, in regards to this trade for Carmelo and Atlanta, Atlanta's going to waive and stretch Carmelo Anthony. He will not become an Atlanta Hawk. That will never be a thing. Melo will never make the flight down to Atlanta to play, to even get a jersey with the Hawks. They're going to waive and stretch him. Melo will then become a free agent, and at that point, we expect him to sign with the Houston Rockets, I believe, in the next 48 hours. He's, again, a free agent. As soon as the Atlanta Hawks make this thing official, waive and stretch Carmelo Anthony. I believe that process takes like 24, 48 hours for the trade to go through. At that point, as soon as Melo's available, I believe he will become a Houston Rocket. They might agree on a deal tonight under the table and just have to wait till it can legally be announced to everyone out there. The Atlanta Hawks, like many other teams, they don't want anything to do with Carmelo Anthony. They have a young team. They're building this thing from scratch. They want to build around Trae Young. They traded Dennis Schroder because they want to lose games on purpose. They're not trying to win basketball games. I think I told you guys about this in a video earlier this summer. They're trying to lose basketball games. They want Trae Young to be the point guard of the future. He now will enter that starting role officially. Dennis Schroder probably wins you too many games, right? Or he gets you close to winning too many games because he can hoop. What did he average, like 18, 19 a game last year? He can hoop, you know? He was on a bad team, but he was probably shining a little too much. They'd rather lose with Trae Young, a rookie next year, and get another top 5 pick and rebuild this thing with bad players, kind of do the Oklahoma City Thunder approach, the Philadelphia 76er approach, right? They're trying to do that approach and just build this thing organically. A lot of teams are actually doing that, and they rather lose with Trae Young than win a few more games with Dennis Schroder. Dennis Schroder is not in your long-term plans. If Trae Young figures this thing out, he's a superstar. If Dennis Schroder figured it out, at best, he's a good player. Let's go ahead and lose with Trae Young. Let's excite the fan base. You know, I would have thought about keeping Melo for the simple fact that he would have sold you a couple more tickets. And I can tell you one thing, Atlanta, and that's that arena that they have, they need to sell tickets. They're trying to do everything they can. They brought in a plethora of artists, big-time artists. I think Ludacris and other big-time artists last year to come perform. They need to sell tickets. And in that regard, Carmelo Anthony would have still been able to sell tickets. But that, to me, just speaks about what people think about Carmelo Anthony at this point in his career. They don't even want him around to sell tickets. They don't want that toxic energy, and that's what his reputation has become around the league. A guy who at one point in time, because he was so strong, so good offensively, could ISO his way in the points, ISO his way in the 25, 30 points. He get that in his sleep at one point in time. But now that jumper does not fall as consistently as he used to. His demeanor, he's still thinking he should be a starter on every team. The NBA has changed on him. Remember, Kobe's era was like an ISO era. From Jordan on to Kobe, it was ISO basketball. Give me one-on-one in a post or on the perimeter. Let me make a play. Well, the Warriors and teams like that have kind of changed it. It's now pass, pass, pass. Who's open? Find a shooter in the corner. Find a shooter. Drive to the rack. Kick out. That's the brand of basketball teams are playing as everybody tries to acclimate to the Golden State Warriors. And guys like Carmelo Anthony kind of got left in the past. You know, and I think that's why he's aging poorly. One other thing with Carmelo Anthony, because I do still have respect for Carmelo Anthony. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So dude's a 10-time All-Star, multiple-time gold medal winner. He's going into the Hall of Fame first ballot, ladies and gentlemen. Here's my thing with Carmelo Anthony. And I think this is something that we all can learn from. We look at those hoodie Melo videos, and I think a lot of us think, yo, Melo's in the gym going in. He's supposed to be in the gym. We're just seeing it on video. I think the guy C. Brinkley, who posted them last summer, we're all looking at those hoodie Melos excited like new Melo coming back. But ladies and gentlemen, most NBA players are in the gym day in and day out. We just seen it with Carmelo Anthony because he opted to post it. That's all that is. And I think he's a prisoner of not putting the work in his body in his 20s. Right? We see that in our families all the time. We all battle with this. You got to put the work in your body now. And that's what's going, you know, you just can't turn your life around at the age of 40 and think what you did for the first 39 years of your life is not going to impact you. I think Melo might be putting in the work now that he probably should have been putting in his 20s when he was a great raw talent. He didn't have to probably treat his body correctly in his 20s, right? Early 20s, because he was just that damn good. He was phenomenal. But I think as you get older, we now see Melo having to work harder at his health and keeping that body down, because he's down. He's lost a lot of weight, looking good, you know. But I think he's just one of those things where it was a late bloomer in regards to the health. And that's why you see guys like LeBron James not breaking down. I think D-Wade is probably someone in between LeBron and Melo, right, in regards to how he takes care of his body. I think he goes hard at spurts. But you see, that's why he's had injuries, and sometimes he's had good stretches with his health. LeBron is he's the ultimate health king, and it's paying dividends. Carmelo Anthony has been traded to the Atlanta Hawks for Dennis Schroder. Pretty much, there's a couple picks involved in this trade as well. Again, the Atlanta Hawks will waive and stretch Carmelo Anthony. He will become a free agent, in which I do expect in the next 48 hours he will become a Houston Rocket. Don't quote me on that, but I know they're talking. I'll keep you guys up to date when I get more information. Thank y'all for the time. Loves put out. Don't take it for granted. Salute. I'm out.
I want to salute you, homie, you know, for building your own thing and doing your own thing, creating your own platform, your own website.
I got one life to live out my dreams, and I'm giving this thing all I got. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I represent the culture.
Right now, you're turning up on MrTaliaferro.com, shawty.